beste reizigers. Het is 10 uur en 46 minuten. En zo dadelijk komen we uiteraard geheel volgens dienstregeling aan op station Amsterdam Centraal.
To celebrate the end of the year, we from Allemansend Re-enactment decided to take a little trip to Amsterdam to visit a few historical locations that are interesting to our historical impression of Dutch 17th century sailors. But we wouldn't be Allemansend if we just walked around the city, so we decided to take our boats and row along the Amsterdam canals. And we thought it would be interesting to make a little video showing this trip and telling the history of a few of the historical locations we were planning to visit. We started off by putting our boats to the water at the Oosterdok, across the water from Slans Zeemagazijn. It was built in 1656 and was used by the Admiralty as a warehouse or depot for ship materials like cannons, sails, rigging, drinking water and so on for the Dutch war fleet. And today it's a Maritime Museum. A part of the museum is a replica of a Dutch East Indiaman from 1748 called the Amsterdam, or the Amsterdam, which went down on its maiden voyage in the North Sea. Then we went into the Schippersgracht, where we had our first stop, called the Druif. It is said to have been the favorite drinking house of Piet Hein, who took the Spanish silver fleet in 1629. And it was also used by Piet Hein and Frank Lammers, Michiel de Ruiter, as a location where sailors could enlist. This last part is signified by the bunch of grapes hanging on the front of the building. This is also where the Druif gets its name, since in English the Druif means the grape. In the 17th and 18th century, multiple taverns and drinking houses had grapes like these on the front of the building to let sailors know that they could sign on inside. And the building stems from 1566 and was first used as a tavern in 1585. Then we continued on the Nieuwe Herengracht, turning right onto the Binnen Amstel, continuing onto het Rokin, turning into the Grimburgwal, and then turning into the Ouderzijds Voorburgwal, entering the region known as the Wallen, which name derives from the fact that at one point in history this was the location of the city walls. This is comparable to Wall Street in New York. Another similarity with Wall Street in New York is the fact that there's a lot of money that changes from hand to hand in this area on a daily basis. If you know, you know. Then we stopped near the Armbrug and walked in the direction of the Zeedijk, which is the location of in het Apepion, which is one of the oldest surviving wooden buildings in Amsterdam. It was built between 1540 and 1550. It was named after its first owner, Jan Cornelis in het Aapgen. There is a Dutch expression, in de aap gelogeerd, that many attribute to this building. The best translation would be stayed at the monkey, and it means that you have been fooled or disadvantaged. The story is that sailors who had spent all their money would pay at the tavern with monkeys, which they had been brought back from their voyages. These monkeys ran rampant through the tavern and were covered in fleas, so the guests that stayed at the tavern would also get fleas. So in short, you would be promised good lodgings, but you would leave with fleas. There's some discussion if this story is actually true, since there isn't much evidence for it, and the building has switched from being a living residence to a tavern a few times in its existence. And there were multiple taverns in Amsterdam and the rest of the Netherlands that had a name that had something to do with monkeys. And fleas and lice were pretty common in the period. Right across in het Apepion stands the St. Olaf's Kapel, or St. Olaf's Chapel. This chapel was named after Saint Olaf, the patron saint of seafarers. And it said that Petrus Plancius taught the art of navigation to aspiring navigators at this location. Plancius was Amsterdam's most important cartographer. He also was a geographer, astronomer, and theologist. He was involved with the Old Company and the early stages of the East India and West India Company. And he was heavily involved with expeditions to find the Northeast Passage, which ended in the wintering on Nova Zembla. And he was also involved with expeditions to find the Northwest Passage, led by Henry Hudson.
Dan moet je aan Olaf vragen of Lex.
Then we continued through the outside Circolog.
Stukjes waarin we niet gelijk gaan knippen eruit.
Ze doen we best.
Then turning into the Gelderse Kade. Which is also the location of the Schrijerstoren, which was built in 1487 as part of the city walls, and it's the only remaining defensive tower in Amsterdam. After it lost its defensive use, it was used as an office by the harbor management, and it's also one of the locations where wives could say goodbye to their husbands who were employed with the Dutch East India Company before they embarked on their voyages. And since the Rechtboomsloot was closed off, we had to turn back.
Je mag hier ook helemaal niet in. Er staat een eenrichtingsbord.
Er hangt nog een vendor langzij, jongens. Er hangt nog een vendor weer langzij.
Hoor niet.
And then we made our way back to where we started, across from Slans Zeemagazijn. I hope you liked our small trip to Amsterdam. If you have any questions about any of the locations we visited, or any questions about any of our other videos, please let us know in the comments. And we'll see you in the next video.